that lets you save.
Look here.
True Form Life.
Green look on
Long list of ingredients, don't waste your time, put it back on the shelf. Then if you have a handful of ingredients that you actually want to look through, those ingredients need to be cleaner from the beginning. So the healthier the product has the cleaner ingredients at the front, and then the less clean ingredients at the back.
Welcome to Exploring Mind and Body with Taddia. Drew is an expert in nutrition, fitness, lifestyle, and more. And he wants to help you live a healthier, longer, and more active life. Now here's your host, Taddia.
Welcome to another edition of nationally syndicated Exploring Mind and Body. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in, for being a part of our True Form Life community. We're coming at you with a brand new show. We appreciate whether you're listening on terrestrial radio across the country or as a podcast around the world. We certainly wouldn't be here without you. So stick around. We got all that coming up.
This is Exploring Mind and Body. Naturally improve your lifestyle one show at a time with your host, Taddia.
Good morning, everyone. Happy day. Hope you're all having a great day. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. Today we're going to jump on here and talk about how to simplify grocery store shopping so you can find clean ingredients. So I know that's a big one. It's really challenging for a lot of people to find clean ingredients in a reasonable amount of time. So I'm going to talk about that today. So I hope you get something out of this show. Simplifying when you go to the grocery store, for example. Okay, so here's the thing is that the grocery store doesn't have to be like this big, scary being. I feel like that's how some people feel about the grocery store. Like I hear it all the time, that people don't want to go to the grocery store. It's a waste of time. It takes too much time. And then on top of that, how do you find clean products? So I'm going to explain that with you here in this show, and I'll explain my process because it's pretty simple. And I had this conversation with one of our newer MAP clients, and they said, I don't really understand all the scientific fancy words. I get lost pretty easily. And they're like, I know it doesn't make me sound very smart, but I like to learn. I want to learn, but I don't understand all that. And I said, you know what? I don't understand that either. Like that kind of stuff isn't for everyone. And it's certainly not for me. So the way I understand things is very simply. And the only reason I know this kind of stuff, is because I've been doing it for years. And we've developed our own products and brought our own products to market. So I now understand the labeling and how it works too, the amount of ingredients and how they put it on the label. So I'll explain that here with you. But you don't have to feel like you're alone, or you don't know, you're not smart, or you don't know what you're doing. It's just how it is. Like we don't learn this stuff, right? It's not like we sat down in school, college, university, and it was like, okay, this is how you read ingredients, or this is how you find clean products. That's why we're here. Like we're an education-based company that teaches you how to do this kind of stuff. So if you're not sitting in these conversations, or if this is your first time, you wouldn't know. Like, how else would we know? And here's the thing is that grocery stores are built around deception. Shocker, right? That's just how it goes. Like, they don't put things on labels for you to know more about it, right? It's not like, oh, we want to keep you informed. That's not how grocery stores work. They want to do everything they can to sell you products before those products expire, and that's it. And I'm not saying like maybe I contradicted myself. It's not like a big monster that's like trying to take advantage of you, which is what it sounds like. I'm just saying like their job is to make money. Their job isn't to properly inform you. It's not to give you the cleanest products. Neither is health food stores, for that matter. They're a business trying to make money, and they do a good job of serving us. And we need grocery stores. We need farmers markets. Otherwise, where would we get our food from? Like most of us don't live on a farm anymore and figure out our own, like grow our own food throughout the year, right? So we appreciate the grocery stores coming in. I mean, we appreciate what the grocery stores do, but I feel like it's important to understand that we have to educate ourselves, and that's by sitting through conversations like this and participating in conversations, because the more you ask questions, the more you understand about different products, and then you have those conversations and you teach your kids about it, and hopefully they teach their kids about it. So It's all a big picture, and I feel like there's a huge gap these days between food, like where food comes from, the grocery store, how it gets on your plate, and when it comes to this stuff in particular, when I'm talking about grocery stores, like they have to make a profit, otherwise they won't be there, and they have big corporation pressure, big corporate pressure, and they have to do their job as well. So it's our job to figure out what the best way to go about that is to keep ourselves and our family healthy with clean foods. So I guess the first thing is your mindset, right? When you go to a grocery store, it's not this big scary thing. Like if we have like a system, and most of us do, like most of us have a pattern of going about going to the grocery store and we don't even know it. So probably, like most of us probably go to the grocery store on a regular basis, whatever that is, like if that's weekly, if that's every 2 or 3 days, if that's weekly, if that's monthly, we all have like a system or a process of what we do. It's a habit, right? So you usually, when you drive to the grocery store, you're driving the same way, right? There's a bunch of different ways you could go, but in most cases, now if you're on the other side of town and you're coming back and you want to stop real quick, that's different. But I'm saying, like, when you prepare to go to the grocery store, you go the same way. So what my point here is that these are formed habits. We already have formed habits in our life to go about certain things. And that was the same thing with someone. I was talking to someone about, it was about exercise. Like, they were really consistent with exercise in general, and it's rare. You don't see people that are exercising on a regular basis for that long. I think they're exercising 4 or 5 times a week for a year, very consistently. And we all have days that don't match up perfectly, but that's what they told me. And then they said the nutrition part was the more challenging. And I said, well, look, you already have habits, and you already have discipline, and you already have motivation. Like, that is proven if you're going to the gym as often and as long as you told me. So all we have to do is transfer those habits to understanding more about nutrition, how we can make you already have your motivation, you already have your habits. Let's turn that into, or transfer that over into your nutrition. And the thing is, they just didn't really know, and they're open and honest. And I think that's important to recognize. Like, you're already doing a great job. Most of us, we only focus on the things that we aren't doing well. So you're doing a great job here. So whatever you're doing, in most cases, we have some type of habit, we have some type of consistency. It just needs to be transferred over to the area we want to improve or grow in. So when it comes to you and going to the grocery store, you're already doing the things that you probably should be doing in some way or another. It just needs to be tightened up a little bit. So in a past show, I talked about how going to the grocery store once a week, max, is a good idea. Like, in most cases, you're going to save time. You're definitely going to save time. You're probably going to save money because you're not going for 1 or 2 items. So these are the things that we're doing on a regular basis. So now I want to transfer that into what you're doing when you're going to the grocery store. So one of my big tips or main tips is to go to the same grocery store. And we like to shop around as well. Shop around for the discount days, or you're not always going to find the same foods or the same priced foods at every single grocery store. They're all priced a little bit different. I suggest going to, if not the same grocery store, similar grocery stores. So it's not like every time you go to the grocery store, there's no plan or there's no rhyme or reason. It's just like, that was the closest to this grocery store, I'm just going to grab my stuff and run. I don't have time for all that stuff, right? So if you don't have time for all that stuff, you don't have time to save money, and you don't have time to improve your experience at the grocery store. So I would suggest going to similar grocery stores or the same one on a regular basis. And I'm going to tell you why. Is because in this case, you know where everything is. And I know what it's like, and I feel like I can feel people's frustration, because when I go to a grocery store and I'm not used to that area, it takes me forever to find stuff. It's like, it's like, most of it's like going to Costco. Like, they always move stuff, and it's terribly frustrating, because at least for me, I just want to get in and get out. So if I go to the same grocery store, I know where the stuff is. I go straight to that stuff and leave. Now, if you want to hang out, Dorothy's a bit different. She calls it tootling. She likes to toot a little bit. She likes to go check out different stuff. She takes our little man with her, and they have a morning of it, or whatever it is. So that's enjoyable for them, and they look at ingredients and they pick different foods out. I think it's a really nice experience for them, right? Now, that may be not for you. It's not for me. So when I go to the grocery store, I want to go to the places where my items are and leave, and that's it. So that starts out with knowing where the items are that you want at the grocery store that you visit. And if you're always going to a different grocery store and you never have like a pattern, or you never have a purpose of going and grabbing your stuff and leaving, then it's always going to feel like a huge waste of time for you. So that's number one. And like I said, I know this frustration because when we go to, like, once in a while we go to the mountains in Canmore, for example, and we go to a new grocery store, and I'm like, I just want to get my stuff and get out, and I don't know where anything is. And the worst part is when you go to those, in my opinion, those lower quality grocery stores, they don't have like management at the top, training, customer service. So you're going to a grocery store, you don't know where anything is, and then you ask someone. First of all, you can't find someone for help, and if you do find someone, they're like, "Oh, it's over there in it's aisle 3." And you're like, okay, you don't even know which direction that is. Then you find what aisle, and you got to look through hundreds of products to find the one that you want. So what I've found is that a better quality grocery stores with better management, and probably they may even have slightly more expensive prices, but they have better quality products. Those types of people are more inclined to help. So they seem to have more staff, and they have more staff, and they have better training to show you where the food is that you want. So that alone will improve your experience by going to a better quality grocery store. And it doesn't matter. Like, actually, you know what? Why don't you drop in the comments if you have a favorite grocery store? When I was growing up, I really enjoyed Co-op. Used to go there with my grandma for like $1.49 day. So now in town here, we bounce around to a couple different ones, but I still like Co-op. It's very like community orientated. I think even No Frills. Okay, No Frills. Like, the staff is super friendly to Dorothy and Harrison at No Frills, so they like to go there a bit more, because when they are walking around, the staff will actually stop, come over, and say hi. That makes a huge difference. A place like Sobeys and Olds doesn't really do that, at least to us. I'm just sharing our experience. So that's number one, is for you to go to a place where you know where everything is, so you're not wasting time trying to run around trying to find things and not know where they are. That's super frustrating to me. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is I want to recognize a couple things. So the first thing is that certain things are in certain areas, right? Is that oversimplification? You go to the dairy section. That's usually where you find your eggs, right? And maybe that's where you find your milk. We're not like really dairy milk types of people, but it's okay if you are. I'm just using that as an example. You usually know where that stuff is. It's the same with the fruit section. Like, you know where the fruit section is. So you get into the grocery store, and I cannot recommend a grocery list highly enough, and most people don't. It's very rare you walk around the grocery store and you see someone with a grocery list. Very rare. I see it maybe once every 5 times I go to the grocery store, someone has a list. And I'm not quite sure why. Because you can save money, you could save time, and it's just so much easier to follow a list. I take a list. I take a little list in my hand with a pen. And I check it off. That's what I do. That may not be for everyone, but it's so important. And it doesn't seem like much, but you have a grocery list. Like, for our members, we give them a grocery list for exactly what they're going to eat. They save money each month because you stick to your list. You're not buying a bunch of stuff that's going to go bad, or stuff that you shouldn't be buying or not going to use, right? That's a waste of money. You're like, oh, that's a sale. Remember how we talked about how grocery stores are set up? They're set up for you to buy more of the things you probably don't need, right? That's why all those little chocolates and cheap, those like gossip magazines are sitting at the till when you're walking up, standing in line. People probably used to look at those magazines, right? Now they're just looking at their phone. But still, if you're hungry, you're going to grab this little chocolate bar to snack on it on the way home while you're getting your groceries, right? So that was one thing I wanted to share with you. Another thing I wanted to share with you is brand names. So when you start, and this is the kind of training we talk about with some of our newer clients when they're not really sure what to do or how to navigate around a grocery store. And one of the things is they say, oh, it takes so much time to go grocery shopping. And if you're new to grocery shopping, which a lot of adults are, is that you don't know this kind of stuff. So I hope it's helpful. So let me know in the comments if you're finding this helpful, to save some time and understand the grocery store a little bit more. So those let me tell you this, those middle aisles, and you've probably heard this before, but there's nothing good in those middle aisles. Like usually cleaning products, would never recommend cleaning products from a grocery store. You have the whole candy, chip, pop aisles right in the middle. Definitely recommend staying away from them. And that's why I'm talking about getting to know your grocery store, because I was mentioning brand names, and if you know a particular brand name that has clean ingredients, then you go to that section. You go to the same grocery store that you're used to going to, that you enjoy going to. You go to that area where it's dairy or whatever it is. Apples. Like I like Fuji apples, so I go straight to the Fuji apple section. That's it. I don't wander around the fruit section. I go and buy organic or fair trade bananas. I look for pears on sale, organic pears, and then I look for bananas. Oh, and I look for Fuji apples. That's what I do. That's my process. And if you go to the grocery store enough, you will have a process, or you already have one that you don't know about. So when I go, I know exactly where I'm going. And I mentioned those types, like I like Bartlett pears, right? So I know the very specific type of banana, apple, and pear that I'm looking for. It's not like I'm guessing like, oh, this looks like it's on sale, or this might be a good option. No. I know what I'm doing. I grab exactly what I want, and I leave. And that might take you guys a bit time to figure that out, but it's possible. Okay, so you know your grocery store, you know where you're going, and then you'll start to find out which name brand you like. So when you start to look at the name brands, you'll be confused at first, and you'll read ingredients and you'll put it back on the shelf. You'll find another one, read ingredients, put it back on the shelf, and then you'll find one that you like, and then your grocery store will stop carrying it. No, I'm just kidding. You know what's nice is some managers, you can go to some grocery stores and ask them, like the produce manager or whoever, and ask them to bring in products. Like, hey, will you bring in this product? I really like it at the enter a competitor store, but I'd rather buy it here. And sometimes they'll bring it in, which is really nice. The problem is if they bring it in and people aren't buying it consistently, they're not going to keep it there. But you can talk to your produce people. Like, why not? Like, ask them questions, send requests. Like, they're there to serve you and help you out. One of the most important things I want to talk about here is reading the ingredients. So here's what I do. Like, if I see a long list of ingredients on a package, I put it down. Right? I don't read the ingredients. I'm not going to sit there and spend 10 minutes out of my day to look through 25 ingredients, because if there's 25, probably even 10, like if there's 10 ingredients on a product, like if it's this thick, I can just about guarantee there's going to be something in there that I'm not going to consume, or I don't want to consume. So that's an easy one for you. You pick up a product, you flip it around, look at the ingredients list, not the nutritional value. The nutritional value is a giant mess. Often they try to spin it so it makes it look better for you, right? So it'll say 100 calories per serving, right? And then they'll sway, like it'll be like 3 chips. Right? 3 chips or 3 crackers is 100 calories. Well, you're going to sit there and have 25 chips. So you're going to eat 1,000 calories. But it says 100 calories per serving, so you think it's clean, right? Like, that is nonsense. Stay away from that. If you want to get into calorie counting, we'll do a whole training session in the future, but that's very in-depth, and most people don't even want to know. You don't want to know that because you don't want to do it. Like, a very small percentage of people are going to actually count calories on their own. And I don't recommend it. It's an absolute nightmare. But you need to know what calories are going in your body, right? Like, I did this video about a muffin. Like, this little tiny muffin had like 500 or 600 calories from a hotel. And I was like, okay, you should know that, right? Like, that's like, most people should be able to figure that out. That if you see a little muffin there, that's basically cake. And I know everyone thinks a muffin and a cake is different. When I said that, my point is usually the quality, like the quality, the ingredients, the calories, the sugar content, they're both very similar. And people think, okay, I'm having a muffin for breakfast, that's clean. It's not. In most cases, it's very similar to a cupcake. The same difference. It just has different packaging. Well, I made a joke and someone laughed. It wasn't even me. It was I said a cupcake. What is it? A cupcake? A muffin is just an ugly cupcake. And everyone's like, no, they're totally different. My point is that in most cases, the ingredients or the calorie count isn't much different. So one isn't a whole lot healthier than the other. You know what I find interesting is that sometimes you go to like the pharmacy section, and I don't see that too much in Canada, but often in the US I'll go to like the supplements or vitamin section. Terrible place to get your vitamins, in my opinion. And they have a magnifying glass so you can read the ingredients, right? Like, first of all, if you need a magnifying glass to read, if the ingredients are that tiny, you need a magnifying glass, you should probably put it back down. And I've never seen someone use that magnifying glass either. Like, I've never been to a store where someone's like, wonder what the ingredients are in here. Like, it just doesn't happen. So I think that's always entertaining to see. But okay, so that's a super important tip, is that if it's a long list of ingredients, put it down. Don't waste your time. Now, the next thing I want to explain to you is that they list the ingredients in quantity. So let's say it says sugar. That means that product has mostly sugar in it, or that has the most amount of sugar in it. The next one could be, I don't know what they put in there, hydrogenated oil. Like, let's just say it's some type of corn oil, or a soybean oil. So then the next product is soybean oil. And then the next one could be maltodextrin, like whatever it is. Wish I had a product here to give you a better example. But when you pick up that product and you look at the ingredients, that's how you can tell what's mostly in that product. So that's how you have to list, and that's why we know this, because we have to follow strict guidelines on how to label our products. So the first ingredient that you see has the most amount. So when you pick up a product and the first thing that says is sugar, which most packaged foods have, you put it back on the shelf. In fact, if I find a product that has any sugar in it at all, I put it back on the shelf. That's the same thing. Okay. So that's important. Is that I want to go over that again. Long list of ingredients. Don't waste your time. Put it back on the shelf. Then if you have a handful of ingredients that you actually want to look through, those ingredients need to be cleaner from the beginning. So the healthier the product has the cleaner ingredients at the front, and then the less clean ingredients at the back. Right? Is that helpful? So understand that if you have sugar as the last ingredient, which is rare, you probably have like an oil or maybe a natural flavoring near the end. Let's say if you have sugar at the end, it'd be cleaner than a product that has sugar at the beginning. Right? That's just a general conversation, or general. It could be like cassava flour, which I would consider a clean flour. So it could be cassava flour at the beginning. That means, this is a better quality product because it has better, more of a cleaner ingredient than at the very end of it. Okay. Now, another tip I wanted to mention is that I usually look at the first 3 ingredients, and usually one of those first 3 ingredients have something that I either want or don't want. And in most cases, I'm looking for things that I don't want in the product. So I go to a product, I pick it up, I flip it around, look at the ingredients, not the nutritional value, and I look at the first 3 ingredients. If that has sugar, maltodextrin, a low quality oil, which is where you'll usually find one of those toxins or rancid oils, I put it back on the shelf. So if you have a product that you pick up and has 10 ingredients, you don't have to read the 10 ingredients. You read the first 3 ingredients, and if those are clean, you're probably doing pretty good. From there, I move on to, that's where you'll see that later on, you'll see like those natural flavors is usually MSG, which I don't consume, so I'll put it back on the shelf unless I know it's a product that's cleaner. Like you could look at us, like ours, for example. Like look at one of our products. I think we have some natural flavoring in we do have natural flavoring in our liquid mag, for example, and that's 100% natural. We actually go out of our way to spend extra on our flavoring. So no propylene glycol, no alcohol in our flavoring, but we label that as natural flavoring. So you can find products that I have a pretty good idea that are clean, that have natural flavoring, but in most cases that's an MSG, which turns into a toxic in our body, which causes health issues in the future. Those steps right there are going to help you make better decisions as you navigate through the grocery store. So that's going to save you a whole bunch of time. Now, look at the first 3 ingredients, and then make sure there's no sugar, there's no oils in the top. It's another one, like oils in particular. So oils are super important because Oils either help you or hurt you, and I think that's the easiest way to describe it. So if you have clean oils, they're going to help you burn body fat, they'll help lubricate your joints, they'll help give you energy, brain function, tons of benefits to healthy oils. If you have unhealthy oils, you're going to look at inflammation. Inflammation causes chronic pain. Chronic pain causes you to be uncomfortable on a regular basis. So maybe maybe you've been having chronic pain or highly inflammatory foods for years, and then we have a knee pain, right, or lower back pain or joint pain. Well, that comes from things like sugar, like refined sugar. That comes from rancid oils, for example. So when I'm looking at a product, I'm looking for, I don't want any corn products, so multidextrin is something if I see multidextrin, back on the shelf. If I see any oils in there, like usually they're all rancid oils, like you're looking at your seed oils, cotton seed oil, grape seed oil, canola oil, corn oil, those types of things, rancid, put them back on the shelf. So those are the things that are causing you chronic pain, especially consuming them for years. And the problem, not the problem, but the concern here is that people have been using those oils and those ingredients, those products with those cheap, low quality ingredients that are causing our health to decline. They've been doing that for years. So they're like, okay, I'm going to try your C8 MCT oil. Let's just say we just got a shipment in case you guys want to grab one. We'll have that back on the order form this week. So we have them back on, or so someone says, okay, I'm going to try your MCT oil, and I'm saying that will help your health, that will help with your joints, that will help with pain. They try it for like a couple weeks or a month, and they're like, don't really notice anything. I'm going to go back to my other stuff that caused you all the pain to begin with, right? But we don't connect the two things, and that's okay because we don't have that education easily accessible. That connection of those low quality foods equal chronic pain. We have to separate ourselves from those low quality foods if we want to separate ourselves from pain. And that's the only way we can do that, is put better quality foods, like better quality oils, in our body, which means when you have a cheap product that has those oils in it, in the ingredients, you have to say, no thank you, I'm going to choose better. Oils in particular is like good oils that you should, like our coconut oil, like our C8 MCT oil. Obviously we wouldn't sell it if it wasn't a good product. You can go down the list. I just mentioned already the rancid oils that I recommend staying away from, but we definitely have whole shows that we've talked about in the past. If you guys are really interested, a couple things before I let you go. We have our YouTube channel. It's just at Trueform Life. You go to our YouTube channel and you type in oils, all of our shows over the years will come up. We have over 1,000 videos. And then the same thing with our website, trueformlife.com. You type in oils and all of our blog posts, including videos, will come up with oils. So that obviously would save us time if you just went to our website and searched yourself, but a lot of people don't do that. We've been trying to get people to go to our website for years, but no one does it. And you know what, here's the thing about the world changing is, I was listening to this business interview, and people are like, you don't even need a website anymore, you just use social media, right? Like a lot of businesses are like obsessed, like, I gotta get my logo done, I gotta get my website done, and like, no one's gonna go there anyways. We're fortunate that we have our products on our website now, but we didn't for years. So now people go to our website and order, and that's where you can also find our blog. We have a blog that we update every week, and we have tons of recipes as well. So if you want some recipes and more information, trueformlife.com. I'm going to wrap things up here, though. I'm going to let you go, and that's all I got. Have a great day. We'll see you guys soon.
Trueform Life.
All right, that's going to wrap things up for this edition of Exploring Mind and Body. Once again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in and being a part of our Trueform Life community. You can always find us on Facebook.com/Trueform Life. We post up there a couple times a day on our story. We're always trying to bring you more content around living a healthy lifestyle, whether that be nutrition, fitness, lifestyle, and more. We also have free challenges that we do at least once a month. So if you follow us along there, you'll be able to join maybe a plank challenge or a squat challenge, Tabata challenge, whatever it may be. We'd love to have you join us. We're also on Instagram.com/Drew Taddia. Again, we're posting up there a couple times a day along with our story, all dedicated to keeping you fit and healthy and on track. Our main website is trueformlife.com. If you want to check out some of our products, some of our services, or if you just want some great content from videos to blog posts and recipes and more, we got all that at trueformlife.com. Once again, thank you so much for being here. That's it. That's all I got. I'm out of here. As always, I'm your host, Drew Taddia, in health and fitness for a better world. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to Exploring Mind and Body with Trueform Life's Drew Taddia, fitness expert. To find out more about the show, Drew Taddia, or to listen to past shows, visit exploringmindandbody.com.